And welcome back to America Talks Live. I'm Bill Tucker filling in for Steve Malzberg. Earlier this week, Steve sat down with Israeli journalist and attorney Yifa Segal and discussed Israel's reaction to Trump's win, plus whether or not Obama has any surprises for Israel on his way out. Watch this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome in to the Steve Malzberg Show, Yifa Segal, Esquire, Director of the International Legal Forum, ilfngo.org, if you want to check it out. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Steve.
So, I'm at the ZOA dinner on last Sunday night, and walking around, and there you are. And you said, I'm on the show with you. And I said, I know that. It's a small world. But it was a great dinner, by the way. It was, I think, the largest one they've had so far. And as I know you know, and I talked about earlier, and that was my trouble getting into the event, because I showed up an hour late with my son, and the protesters had the entrance to the door blocked. The doorman for the hotel heard me talking to the cops, and he had to get me in a back door, side door. Wow. I mean, and they were protesting Steve Bannon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There were people talking about him being an anti-Semite. I haven't seen anything that really substantiates such a claim. So I don't think there's any merits to saying he's an anti-Semite.
No, not at all. But it was so good to, and I had my son with me, to be in that atmosphere where everybody there was, most of them were pro-Trump, and the speakers for the most part were pro-Trump. There were exceptions, and it was all about the state of Israel, telling the truth about a so-called Palestinian state, a so-called occupied territory. I mean, it just flies in the face of everything you hear in the media.
Yes, I have to say that the ZOA has an amazing team. I mean, especially they have the Israel director. His name is Jeff Dauby, and we work a lot together. And this is the type of people that you want to work with. Amazing person, amazing cooperation. Mort Klein is the director, of course. Yeah. Everything has to be done through that. So I was happy to take part in the event. I fully support a lot of
it. It was great,
efforts.
And the food wasn't bad either.
No, not bad. Too much food, but yeah.
So let's talk about this possibility, which I've been talking about for a year now. Barack Obama has a little less than about a month and a half left in office. Yes. Do you believe that at the United Nations, the United States will not use its veto, and in fact may even vote for the creation or the recognition of the declaration of a Palestinian state at the pre-68 borders before he leaves office?
I have to tell you, we are very, very concerned with this. I mean, as far as we can see it, this is rewarding terrorists, we're rewarding extremists for bad behavior, for exactly the behavior that we're trying to stop them from continuing and doing. So basically going ahead and rewarding them for that is sending a message to all extremists around the world saying, this is the smart thing for you to do. Continue with your extremist past and jihad and terrorism and incitement, because you'll be rewarded by the international community. And what we see here in the United States is actually Congress standing together, pretty much united, telling Barack Obama there was a letter that was just sent.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't make any unilateral, changes basically to international law. I have to tell you that we've created a document. We're about to disseminate it around the world.
Your group?
My group, the International Legal Forum. We have thousands of attorneys around the world basically endorsing the legal argument, saying that Israel does have a legal merit to its possession of the territories under international law. So if you look at international law, there is really nothing. This is a broad misconception, thinking that international law clearly states that Israel is illegally in possession of the territories. That's not the case.
Well, they never took it from the Palestinians either. They took it from Jordan, from Egypt, from Syria. The Palestinians never had it. It wasn't theirs with it, they were being occupied by those countries if Israel's occupying them.
Exactly. So we are very much concerned that Barack Obama will change international law.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask you as a lawyer, because I don't know. I know once the UN does it, only the UN could undo what they've done. Congress can't. But what could legally be done if the United Nations declares a Palestinian state? What chaos will it cause? And legally, is there anything groups like yours or anybody in the legal community can do to undo that?
Look, currently we live in a world where the United Nations create international law, but of course only under the Security Council Chapter 7 resolution, which are binding under international law. Everything else, all the poison that's been spread around in the General Assembly or in UNESCO, sometimes a Human Rights Committee, that's not binding under international law. So it does create policy, but it doesn't create international law. Only entity that can do that right now is the Security Council under Chapter 7. So part of the message that what we're trying to say is trying to explain to people that, the United Nations is a political entity. It's not really some kind of a saint, really caring about peace or human rights.
They should close the whole dump down is what they should do, yeah.
But people should look at it and say, okay, this entity is really a political entity. I mean, if UNESCO is able to pass a resolution saying that neither the Jews or the Christians have anything to do with Jerusalem or the land of Israel, that was very clear for us when we did, we did this great petition. We submitted it in UNESCO. We made a lot of noise, and the point was to let people know that this is the truth behind the United Nations. So I think the United States, maybe currently under the current administration, the new administration, will maybe have a chance to straighten things out in terms of the international
let's hope.
establishments.
Let's hope. Now, there's another story today in the Wall Street Journal that Obama is looking to fortify the Iran nuclear deal with all kinds of taking sanctions away, this and that. Now, these are things, I don't know the legalities here either, but if he's going to do something unilaterally, the Congress and/or the next president could probably undo it relatively quickly, and there won't be a long lapse time because he's coming in soon. So I think there's more hope in dealing with that than certainly there would be directly dealing with the declaration of a Palestinian state.
Yes. The agreement with Iran was not signed just by the United States. There were other countries involved, but I think the United States is certainly a leader and a force still today in the international community. And what the United States does will take the lead. Hopefully.
What about moving? I'm sorry. What about moving the embassy? Donald Trump, as President Bush said also, and he never did it. Donald Trump has said he would move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, and I think it's a good idea. The Palestinians already threatened another intifada if that were to ever occur. Do you think it'll get done? And
I have news for you. There is an intifada anyway, so we might as well do what's right. And I think it's very much time for embassies to move to Jerusalem. I think there is kind of a problem, with the way. I mean, even if you perceive East Jerusalem as occupied or contested territories, why not move the embassy to the west side of Jerusalem?
Right.
At the very least. So it doesn't make much sense. Again, it's a political agenda and not really a matter of law or human rights. And I think it's about time that the American administration will take point on this.
I hope so. All right, tell people again where they could find your great organization online.
Visit us at ilfngo.org, and we'll be very happy if you keep track and be updated with our work.
All right,
Thank you so
Yifa Segal,
much.
great to see you.
Thank you
Keep
so
up
much
the
for
good
having
work.
me again.
Appreciate it.